guys, welcome to the 8th episode of Create This Book Too. So let's just get started. So the first page says, create a character. Fill out the following blanks at random or ask a friend. The blanks are an adjective, a color, and an animal, and then it says use those words to create a character. To fill in the blanks, I used random generators. First, I found the adjective and I got sad. Second, I did the color and I was honestly gonna read the hex code for that, but no thank you. Second, the color I got was sort of a mustard yellow. It doesn't really pick up that well on screen, so I'll just insert a picture of that. I kind of just interpreted this as just yellow. I didn't really do a very specific shade of it, and plus it was kind of hard to because I was doing traditional. And then finally, for the animal that I generated, I got an antelope. So I got my sketchbook out and I started sketching my character. I know usually I don't show the process of me actually coming up with ideas, but I thought it would be kind of important to this because the main idea behind this page is designing a character, so I thought it would be pretty key to show my design process. So I started by first writing down all the prompts and then drawing them. So I first started drawing a sad girl, some things that were yellow, and then I found reference pictures of antelopes so that I could learn how to draw them. When you think of antelopes, you think of very pretty and elegant creatures, but then I saw this antelope, and this antelope is called a saiga antelope, I believe. Hold on, how do you pronounce that?
Saiga.
Saiga. Oh, okay, saiga. Okay. So I thought this antelope would be kind of fun to draw, so I started drawing it as well. Then I started drawing this sad, furry Saiga antelope boy. So I kind of had the idea that he was getting bullied for looking different because, as I said, the Saiga antelope looks very different from a regular antelope that you think of. Then I drew him holding a love letter, and then it clicked in my head what I was going to do. So I started sketching the thumbnails, and it's him first writing the love letter, then giving it to the person he likes, and then finally being bullied for it. And then after I finished that, I started sketching it out on big boy paper. I wanted to have it be sort of like a story. After I finished sketching, I started outlining with my micron pens, and then I started using watercolors. So for the watercolors, I first started with a base, and I used yellow and black. I wanted the boy to be emanating yellow and everything else to be black and gray. I thought this would be a cool idea since it makes him stand out a lot more, and also I needed to incorporate the yellow color somehow because it's not incorporated at all in his character design, so I thought it'd be interesting to use as a color in the background. So I layered more watercolors to add more depth, then I used some colored pencils to add more detail. I cut it out and then I glued the page onto the book. And on the side there's kind of some white space, so I just drew the antelope boy again, and I added some more yellow details. I left his name blank, so leave your name suggestions below in the comments. I'll choose one of my favorites and I'll feature it in the next video. I like the page as a whole in general, but I feel like the story could be kind of worked on. Oh no, the girl is the villain because she rejected him, and boo-hoo, this kid got rejected and now he's getting bullied for it. It's very black and white. I thought it would have been more interesting if I somehow did another story of it also being in the girl's perspective, and so I don't know. Anyways, remember to leave your name suggestions, because I suck at naming characters. So the next book, what? Okay, so the instructions on the next page says, use the template to create a mini book. And then there are a couple of instructions on how to make it. Then it says, write and or illustrate your mini book on the topic of your choice. So I first started out by ripping out the page that you were supposed to cut out with the mini book. This did not go so well. Anyways, I managed to get the page out and I started cutting out the book. I also traced the page onto a separate piece of paper so I could create more than one book. After I finished cutting out all of the pages for my books, I separated them into 3 separate piles. So my idea was I wanted to recreate 3 books that I enjoyed or that I recently read. I didn't recently read some of these books, but anyways. So for the first book, I started to recreate An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I'm so excited because the sequel is coming out on July 7th. Oh my god, I can't wait. That's wait, is it gonna be July 7th when I release this? Hold on. No, I think it's gonna be coming out tomorrow when I release this. I don't know if my brain is working. Anyways, I recreated the cover with colored pencils. It's pretty similar, right? Then I wrote some of the quotes from the book inside of the book. And then I outlined it all with microns. So I extremely enjoyed reading An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. I don't want to overhype it because I feel like if a book is overhyped too much, then you go into it with unreasonable expectations. But I think I'm already doing that, so I'm sorry. Anyways, you should totally read it. After I finished outlining with my microns, I added some more details with colored pencils, and I wanted the color scheme to kind of be similar to the cover art. After I finished that book, I moved on to the next book, which is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Pretty long name, I know. And it's by Benjamin Alire Signs. I think that's how it's pronounced. Again, I recreated the cover with colored pencils. Again, not bad, right? After I wrote out some of the quotes, and then I outlined everything with my microns. I also really enjoyed this novel. I really enjoyed the main characters, Ari and Dante. I also really loved seeing how their relationship evolves and changes. Finally, I added pizzazz with pencil crayons, and then I finished this book. So the last book I did was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I enjoyed this book, but not as much as the other ones because it was a bit overhyped for me. I like it and I would definitely recommend it. It was still like a pretty good book. But I feel like Celeste Ng's other novel, Everything I Never Told You, impacted me a lot more. So after I finished all the pages, I stapled the books together. My dumb self did not account for the space the staples would take up, so some of the words are cut off sadly. When all the books were completely finished, I wrote a little review for the books and I rated them out of 10. Then I outlined my review with colored pencils, and I did a larger outline with colored pencils again and some extra details with Posca pens. I also bent the rules again. It says to design your own book, but I thought it'd be a lot more interesting to recreate some of my favorite books. I think the overall page is a bit lackluster, but I think each individual book is very cool. So the next page simply says, create drips. So I immediately got out a separate piece of paper since I knew I was going to be dripping watercolor. Even though I usually try to go for a limited color palette, I was just like, whatever, and I went for a full-blown beautiful rainbow. And then I started dripping the paint. This was a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be a lot more chaotic, but it was actually pretty easy to control like how much the paint dripped and how far it went and where it went. After all the watercolors had finished drying, I drew some koi fish. I outlined them with my microns, and then I started coloring them with my microns as well, but then I realized that wasn't really showing up. So instead, I switched to color them with my alcohol-based markers, and that worked a lot better. Since the background was so colorful, I wanted to keep my drawings pretty simple, both with colors and in style. So for this reason, I only used black and white to color the koi fish. I also didn't want to completely color in the koi fish, so you could still be able to see the drips. I cut a flap out to see the instructions, I glued it in, trimmed the edges, and I was finished with this page. I really like how this page looks and came out. The colorful drips as a background paired with the black and white koi fish looks very good. I just really enjoyed making this page, and I feel like the end product for this page is very pretty. So this page says, create on black, and then the page is completely black except for the instructions. So I started sketching out a cat floating in space, and he's tethered to like a spaceship. For any color to actually be able to show up, I decided to use something more opaque, acrylic paint. This page is actually inspired by some visual art I created on my Instagram, Jeloafy. It's this very similar derpy cat floating in space. Since it was going to be in space, I wanted to add some color variation for like nebulas and galaxies and stuff. So I dabbed some different colors such as red, purple, and blue to make the background more interesting. I colored the cat and spaceship fully white so that the colors I used on top would be more opaque. I then used a toothbrush to flick white paint onto the page, and then I realized I should probably protect my desk, so I got some random crap and I put it behind the book. I added some more stars with my Posca pens and also some shooting stars as well. I colored the cat and spaceship in with acrylic paint. Then I outlined the cat with microns, and also I did a darker outline around both the spaceship and cat with Posca pens. I colored in the tether thing. What is that even called? Oh, yeah, okay. They are called safety tethers, so I was correct. Oh my god, I was right for once. So I also really liked how this page turned out. I think the idea is super cute and adorable, and I think the execution is not terrible. I really like the simplicity of the cat in the spaceship, and also how derpy the cat's face looks. And yeah, so that's the end of this page. Thanks for watching this video. Remember to type what you think the antelope guy's name should be in the comments down below. My Insta is @Jeloafy, the same username I use for this channel, and I post digital art on there. Right now on the screen, there's a playlist of my other Create This Book 2 videos, my channel if you want to subscribe, and another video of mine that you can also watch if you want to. That's it for me. Bye!